So, who all remembers what happened last time?
We're all on ship arrest, basically. We read an inscription on the door. We completed a puzzle. Or 2 puzzles, actually. We got the engine. We got back on the ship.
You also got some other special things.
Yeah, we got rewards, yeah.
Y'all remember what they are?
Oh yeah, I get advantage on charisma checks of some capacity. Persuasion.
You have the ability to insight, and then if you use something from that insight to persuade, you get the extra.
Mm-hmm.
And Vi can detect traps, and Anima can remember the first 5 years of her life. You also now know how old you are.
That's important.
And y'all got back on the ship afterwards. You're currently both trying to get to a place where you can sell the engine and trying to figure out just exactly what people know about you so you can know how to stay undercover. Because one of the things that was discovered is the bounty has been updated and also includes some information on the ship, but I will specify not the ship name, but there was a number connected to like the docking. So they have that information. It's kind of like the license plate. So that's the information that they have. They don't actually have the ship name or a description of it.
And it now includes everyone but Ty, correct?
Yes. And I don't think it would include Maria, because I don't think Maria was in the bar when those poor idiots tried to jump you and just got wrecked.
Okay. Even from Sinrith's bar, she wasn't a part of it then?
I think she's probably been taken off of it because they didn't know who she was, and then when she didn't show up in the second thing, you can kind of infer from that what you will, but now it's specifically just the people who got involved in the bar fight, which is the 3 of you, Tali, and Spectra.
But it hasn't been increased yet, correct?
The price has gone up, and I believe if Maria didn't mention this, she would have mentioned that she heard from Scorpia, the bounty hunter she's kind of working with that she hired recently. There are other parties who are trying to kind of get in on it to get a leg up on whoever this trigger is, which could make things potentially problematic.
Okay, so they're looking for us as well, just for their own reasons.
Yeah. Maybe some people want to, like, make him go through them. Maybe some people want to make sure he doesn't find what you guys know.
Oh, I do believe I'm in the workshop.
By all means, you are welcome to go to the workshop and keep working on things while everyone else is figuring things out.
Okay, so we had just finished dinner then? Because I think Anima made
Yes.
hot pot.
I made a hot pot.
Yeah.
Hot pot and helmet is what is going on. Or at least was going on with Faridah at the time.
Yeah.
Which was delicious.
What is everyone going to do after dinner?
Probably just work on my helmet until whenever sleep happens. This is hyperfixation at its finest.
Is sleep going to happen on the work table?
Probably.
That's fun. There may be a small chance that a large lizard man will just kind of carry you to your room when he notices.
That's fine.
Just like, this looks uncomfortable.
Heads and tails trying to poke you awake.
She'll just be grabbed onto the pieces of the helmet, like sleeping on the helmet.
He's used to that happening with Tali enough that he's just got like a little pillow he'll like kind of chuck under you and eventually wake up and you have like a little pillow partially under your head and a blanket over you. And you probably did not feel any of it.
If I did, I wasn't going to argue.
Alright, so Anima, what are you doing after dinner?
I actually want to go find Vi.
Well, I'm guessing if y'all are dinner together, it wouldn't be hard to find Vi because you're in the same room immediately after dinner.
Well, you know.
Yeah, sure. I mean, Vi's gonna talk to Drew and Daria and then message her mentor, but yeah, we can have the conversation first.
Well, no, then I'll wash up and let you finish that conversation and then I'll go find you.
Okay. But I don't know where Drew and Daria is. Drew and Daria, they didn't come for dinner.
They're somewhere on the ship. I imagine they're not that hard to find.
They were in the med bay for a while. I don't know if they're still there, but that's where they were.
Yeah, I imagine they're probably either in the helm or in the library, because they're still catching up and piecing things together. They've also been working on updates to their suits, but they were doing that while y'all were in the thing, so I'm gonna say they're in the library. Just like scrolling through information, and when you walk by, the information is scrolling like incredibly fast. You can kind of tell that they're looking at words, but they're zipping through it. They are there if you would like to talk to them.
Hey, Drew and Daria, may I speak with you a moment?
The scrolling stops and they turn to look at you. Certainly.
Thank you. In the vault, there was a being at one point that was talking to us. Was that being... How do I put this? Was that being a sort of a form of artificial intelligence that was like meant to test us? They just seemed to know a lot of information about us. And I wasn't sure if they just got that information from reading our minds or what was going on with that. So I was just wondering if you knew anything about it.
Many of the beings who helped create the vaults, they were gone before I was alive, but my people were still around, and it was back before we were as we are now. And they had technologies beyond what we've been able to explain in your words. But the vaults all have different guardians and spirits of sorts. It is similar to your artificial intelligence, but it exists in a different way. And those guardians were left to look into those who enter the vaults to make sure they can be trusted with the technology.
So, since we cleared that vault, has that guardian gone away? Are they now sort of the equivalent of sleeping? Are they resting now?
We believe they have gone into a sort of dormancy. Part of them will remain until the vaults are no more, but I believe they have gone to sleep. If that is the best word, because they do not quite live. They just are.
Okay. I just wasn't sure. Do the Guardians keep a record of some sort? Saying who's, like, completed it and what they found? Or is it just more of a, say, they decide whether or not a person is good and then they let them through and that is when they sort of go into sleep?
I believe the Guardians do hold on to the memories, but they keep the memories to themselves. Does what they knew upset you?
My teammates were a little unnerved, and I admit I was also surprised that the Guardian had my memories, so I just wanted to see if you could share more about that with me.
We understand and respect that some things are personal, so any memories that the Guardian saw or will retain afterwards, none can access. None know how.
Alright.
Even we would not be able to unless the Guardian decided it was something that needed to be shared, which Guardians do not often share much information. The vaults were meant to preserve and provide technologies to the future. It is meant to preserve hope and keep the universe moving forward and help it grow stronger. Trying to think of what they would say about this. There was a time when it was believed life in the universe would be no more. And the vaults were created in the hope of making sure that any life left would be able to continue. And so they have, but the information is kept protected.
Thank you very much, Durandaria.
I appreciate your questions, and I hope my answers were able to help alleviate some of your concerns.
Yes, thank you.
Is there anything else you wish to speak of?
Not that I can think of at this moment, but thank you.
You're welcome. It is a pleasure talking to you. Like you did earlier, you feel like this gentle, happy feeling. Just at your subconscious. It's how they emote.
I dig it.
If you want to speak about anything else, let me know. But I would like to return to... I'm trying to catch up on what all I missed while I was asleep.
Yes, please do. Thank you. Have a good evening, Durandaria.
Until next time, friend. And you get another burst of, like, the happy friend feeling, and then it just goes back and just starts scrolling really fast. Speed reading history, but I think they're starting at a point that they're pretty sure was some of the last things they remembered and are working their way forward, and they're not entirely sure how much they have to catch up on. Actually, no. I think they're kind of skimming the highlights, waiting for something they recognize so they can figure out how long it's been and move forward from there. That makes more sense.
Just wait till they hit 2020. Wait, I'm still scrolling and it's still the same year? What happened? What?
I don't want to know.
It just keeps on going. Oh god. What? This is terrible.
Woof.
This seems fake. I'm going to skip this year.
Wait, it's still going! Oh my god! Like, not even reading it anymore, just like, when does it end?
This is just the section on Supernatural. What's happening?
Took a detour through killer bees? What is this?
Oh yeah, that was a thing that happened, and then
The
Yep.
murder hornets.
ended. So, Vi, you said you also wanted to talk to your mentor?
Yeah.
Are you also checking on things or just chatting?
Oh, yeah, I think we did a little bit of checking before dinner, but yeah, I'd like to do more checking after.
I forgot, I'm like, oh, I do have, like, things written down for if y'all decide to research things. I actually thought about that. Kind of.
Yay!
What are you looking at?
Vi would look at Faridah's song. We want to get that checked on.
I should express that Faridah doesn't poke and prod and ask about this like every chance she gets, because she's consciously being like, no, give it space, you'll hear about it whenever you hear about it. Chill.
Yeah.
You haven't specifically said this, but I feel like Vi's also kind of keeping an eye on, like, the internet side, on the Alliance side, just, like, keeping an eye on both sides to see what happens.
Yeah, I think so.
Intergalactic Google will give you both responses.
Yes. Because even in checking on, like, Alliance side, internet, and ShadowNet, there wouldn't have been much. There might have been some... It's been a while since she's dropped one, but sometimes singers have quiet periods, so they're not too worried. They're still jamming out to the last album.
She's made like 25 singles. She's not aware that they're albums. Well, now she's aware that they're albums. She bought her own album, right? I think she did.
Yeah,
I imagine
she
that's
did.
weird for her. I imagine there's been at least, like, a good 30 seconds where she just kind of sat there staring at it like, this is weird.
Huh. Neat. Takes it off the shelf, walks up and buys it.
Yeah, the last we heard, the mysterious person downloaded Faridah's song and then went back behind a firewall.
A very impressive firewall, and you weren't able to get any information off of them. It was just like a blip. But you're good at your stuff, so you caught it, but you didn't get any information. And I think Marios was just like, oh, that's a hella good hacker.
The number of those is relatively low, if I logic my way around it enough.
Yes. It's just good luck finding the one that did it.
Hey, go one by one. Eventually you'll hit them.
Good luck finding any of them, if you don't know who to ask.
Gotta start somewhere, I assume.
True, yeah.
That's Faridah's, like, hard optimism. Realistically, I had no idea where she would start.
You're just like, Vi is good at finding things.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly's just trying to get on the other side of the firewall, see what's there.
Yeah. So give me, let's say, an investigation.
Can I help with that since it relates to me? And my investigation is really high. I might not be able to go on the dark side, but I can help on the light side.
Aren't you working on your suit stuff while she does this?
I would probably take a detour if I were to be informed that she was going to go look at my thing.
Are you informing Faridah that you're going to go look at her thing?
The workshop's not that far away from the kitchen.
Yeah, it's just Vi's a little distracted right now. So, like, if you were like, hey, where you going? Any plans?
I was gonna go work on my helmet, but you thinking of something?
Yeah, I wanted to talk to Drew and Daria and then do some research. I was gonna try to look into your song again.
Ooh. I can take a head start on the areas that I can dig into, and while you're having your conversation with Drew and Daria, and
Sure.
I can give you what I found, might help you out.
Sure. Alright, let's get to it.
So, Vi wanders off. Faridah, I guess roll investigation? Where are you looking?
I'm using Google, but I'm using Google like smart people use Google. I'm going over to advanced search.
I imagine at some point you've found your own social media stuff. Are you checking that or just Google?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to be focusing on financial connections for the record label, which is somehow sponsoring me. And from there, I'm trying to find the names of the people that work in the building. Because, hey, a name is a good place to start. Like you actually just mentioned with the hackers. Specifics are not important. I'm more looking for a bulk list. And maybe find out who's the intern that's running my social media.
Cool. Hang on, I'm just frantically pulling up my list of NPC names real quick.
Oh, no. I'm not looking for specifics. It's, do I find it?
Okay.
That is going to be an 18. Good dice.
You were able to find the name of the specific agent connected to your label?
I'm assuming that this is the kind of person that has agent for Faridah Hallah on their business card, that kind of thing. Certainly not someone who's trying to hide.
Yeah. So you find your agent's name is Edgar Gandry. He doesn't work with a lot of people. He's one of those very successful because he's very picky about who he works with, so most of the people he represents are top of their list. Are you looking for anything in particular about him?
His personal email.
You can't find any real way. He's really hard to get a hold of unless you know someone who knows someone.
Then I'll take the bulk email that is associated to him as a business.
Yeah, you are able to... He's affiliated with...
A brand. He has a business email. Might not be his private email.
Yeah, general marketing, PR, publicity firm.
Yeah.
Still can't find a way to get into contact with him there, but he is pretty popular and...
There is like a business email where you assume it's probably like some kind of junk email that's just full of just so many things. And if you were to actually be able to get a hold of him through this email, I'm assuming it would be a 1 in about 500 to 1,000 chance a day.
Yeah.
I am basing this off of somebody I know in real life.
That's fair.
Okay. Useful info. Whenever Vi comes back to the room where she's left Faridah, you're going to find Faridah fingers steepled, like, I'm planning something. There is no surprise here.
Have you checked your social media stuff at all? Alliance side social media?
Oh, I mean, yeah.
You would have found several other names. I just wanted to give him a name in particular, so you found the name of several people that work in the company.
Yeah. I probably found their names first and most easily, and then he was like, oh, who's in charge of them? Got it.
You find 2 different people where you're pretty sure one of them is doing your social media?
That's going to be my secondary target.
any email addresses they have are not like the most professional, but they're not like super goofy either, because they're like, we have to be professional, but also they haven't mastered the super professional email yet.
Yeah. So I have an idea. If you can figure out the personal email of this guy, I have the marketing email right here, and I'm going to go ahead and send this packaged message to the marketing email, which is from one of those non-existent accounts that I managed to somehow get at some point. I'm sure I asked for one at some point, and you helped me get it or make it or something, because you said I was not very secure about my internet position.
All right.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say y'all do have some version of an email address.
Yeah. I'm using basically what would be an anonymous email address to send this, and it's going to be a tiny video, just like 5 to 10 seconds long, of me, backlit, full darkness in my face, with the helmet on, which at this point is basically a stripped out military helmet, but with the cool lotus design on the front face. So it's just the lotus design on the front face. You can see the little ears peeking out in the silhouette. And in my clearly unmodified voice, I'm going to say, rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated. I'm going to find you.
That sounds very threatening.
I will say that in the musical range that Faridah does cover, she does kind of go into some of the more hardcore styles of things. So actually, this isn't that far off from some music that she has made in, like, vague theme. But she also, as an indie artist, does almost anything. And she'll be using, like, a specific color backlight that is actually reminiscent of other stuff that she's made. And the most important thing is that it is very reminiscent of the anonymous video that we've sent out.
Oh yeah, we didn't actually describe the visual of that video. We just heard that the audio quality was, like, downgraded a lot.
Ah, yes. Basically, kind of, the music itself was more supposed to be a hardstyle kind of a thing. If I remember correctly, back all the way to that point of the campaign, Faridah was quite angry and was definitely channeling that into her music.
Yeah, she had a lot of anger and frustration.
Oh yeah, she's sick and tired of the Federation. But either way, she's doing the theatrical thing of, like, if you've ever seen either this tiny video or the other one from a very long time ago, your brain is immediately going to be like, I've heard that voice before. That seems real familiar. And that's the whole point.
Okay.
All right.
So, Vi, I have an idea.
All right.
Having shown you this little tiny video, I have the name of who is apparently my agent, but they don't have necessarily a private email that's available to communicate to.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking that maybe we help that person connect the dots to this underground subversive thingamajig that we tried to do before in a much less subtle way, sending this video to them, and maybe see if they pick it up.
Well, we can certainly try. I mean, depending on how many emails he gets and what the subject line would be, I don't know if he would even open it, but it's definitely worth a shot.
Yep.
Has anyone checked Faridah's social media accounts?
Yes. I said yes at some point, before Vi came.
Alright. We kept getting sidetracked.
Yes.
So definitely one of the things you would have noticed that might change how you talk to Vi is there is a teaser for a new song coming out. When you listen to it, someone has done a really good job of cleaning up that thing you posted. It's not the full thing,
But it's definitely on their mind. Huh. Nice. Useful.
it's a teaser for an upcoming release.
Then I'm going to cut the last 3 seconds off of my video. Rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated. Snap. Yeah. So apparently somebody got it.
And there are a couple other sites reporting on your death, but there's nothing about it on the social media.
That's fair. To be fair, I am targeting people who would not be open about their business emails, and I'm kind of taking advantage of that inbuilt privacy in commercial marketing communication to get communication into those people without necessarily spoiling the surprise for the rest of the world.
but also whoever found the video on the Federation has gotten it to whoever runs your social media and did a really good job of cleaning it up. It's still not like original quality, but they did a good job.
Yeah, that little secondary melody there at the about 2-minute mark is gone, but it's passable. It's passable.
Well, it's not the full video. It's like a variable it shows like 30-second chunk.
Ah, then at the 15-second mark, they lost that little sub-melody, but, you know, what can you do?
They were working with really shitty audio to begin with, so they did their best, okay?
I purposefully buried that audio, so I have myself to blame for them losing that melody.
So, Vi, how are you reacting to all of this?
Alright, so just so I have things straight, there are sites on the Alliance side now that mention Faridah's death, but it's not her social media.
I think they probably just refer to rumors.
Okay, they refer to rumors about her death. Okay.
And it might be fringe sites that may or may not have some shadowy connections to people that connect to the Shadow Net, which might be how they found out about it, because not a lot of media crossover from the Federation.
Black Market Weekly. Who knows?
That's certainly a thing. Not sure if it's good or not, but hopefully Tally will be able to get more information once she cracks that firewall.
You hear a soft crashing noise. Damn this thing! Just break, damn you! And then you just hear Ty be like, come on, take a break, come on. Dragging her away from the computer. No, I've almost got it! No, you don't. Come on.
If Vi hears that, then she'll, send a quick message to Tally saying, I have reason to believe that the person who hid behind that firewall is linked to the record company. Faridah's social media recently showed a teaser of the song.
You just hear really loud, what?
You send her something?
You hear her, scrambling, and, she almost, skids a little bit past the door, and she's like, wait, what happened?
I explain. Show her the teaser.
What? Her tail's lashing back and forth, and Ty's just kind of standing behind her just in case she starts to spaz out and lose balance again. How even... Okay, now I have a lot of questions. Also, that firewall ain't going anywhere. I'm trying.
It's alright. Maybe you could try going through the record company, seeing what you can find there in communications or anything.
Yeah, I can try that. They shouldn't be... When was the last time I tried to hack a record company? She just scratches her chin. It's been a minute. They can be a little protective, but I can find a way.
A target might be more useful, right? Just randomly hacking them ain't gonna do the job. Edgar Gondry seems to be the person who is my agent, apparently.
Oh, wow.
I have this little tiny 7-second message for him, and I played the little video for her.
Well, that's cryptic and very on brand.
That's kind of the whole idea. Can't be too off-brand for this. Because the message is, I exist and I'm aware of you.
Yeah?
We also have a couple of emails for people who work on the social media. So they should have gotten the file from someone. You could also trace it back from there.
Yeah, I could actually, hang on a second. Hang on. And she, pulls out her tablet and starts going through it. I remember a thing. Yeah. He was in the news several years ago. Someone was accusing him of doing some shady things and taking some side deals. And he almost got in serious trouble, but the person's case just totally fell apart. There was an upstanding member of the community testified that he was test driving a new shuttle design at the time when half of the stuff was supposed to be happening. And the whole thing went away. That's actually part of why he's become more reclusive on the internet. It's because people kept trying to pull stuff like that.
Does it mention what kind of shuttle he was driving?
No, it's just one of the newer models, but this was several years ago, so they're kind of a standard model. Inserts model name that is not related to the one that y'all found earlier, if that's what you're thinking.
Yeah, okay. Alright.
very, very meta question that you might want to cut out. Would this be a model name that is recognized from the other side of the border? Something that might never have been sold on this side? Because it was, a little iffy, purposefully.
No, it was the equivalent of test driving the next year's Honda Civic or something, or like maybe something a little fancier than that.
Prius. Okay. Well, my question was location-wise. Would it be an engine name that was recognized as a thing that shows up in the Federation?
No.
Cut back. Well, that's a lot. I'm gonna do what digging I can.
That might be completely irrelevant, but I had to figure out how I recognize that name, otherwise it's going to drive me nuts.
I don't know. I rolled above a 10, so I'm gonna be curious about this, and I'm gonna go dig into it on my own time.
Straight D20 rolls are great for how people react to things.
Yes, that's how I determine if my character cares about things that are meta-relevant or not.
You are more than welcome to dig into car salesman.
I'm gonna dig into car salesmen, especially if they happen to be my agent for some reason.
No, it's not your agent. Your agent was not the car salesman.
Oh,
that's gonna take me a hot second to get around to. The wording on that was something that she might have taken note of. However, never mind, she rolled a 19. She is curious in the upstanding member of the community, too.
Yeah, Tolly would have worded it so it would have been clear that the agent was not selling a car. He was testing a car to see if he wanted to buy it.
Okay.
Tolly would have worded it better than I did.
That's okay.
and then something happened.
Yeah, apparently he was accepting a payoff at that time, and it's like, no, he was with me in this shuttle.
He was with me over here, and nobody else can do anything to prove it. Or not.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, I'm going to go ahead and be curious and spend some time learning everything I possibly can about the first individual, my agent, the interns, because I'm sure that their social medias are all sorts of open books. And maybe we'll look into who this outstanding member of the community is as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will get you some of those answers later, but there will be answers.
Yeah, that's fine. That's okay. I am in no rush. We're getting a lot already.
So, Vi, what are you looking at?
Yeah. Before Faridah leaves, she's going to kind of ask Vi, what are you thinking about this? What is this looking like to you?
I mean, I don't like it, but I don't know. There's just a lot of loose threads right now, and I don't like that.
Oh yeah, this is basically a giant mop.
Let's see if anything's happened to your song on the ShadowNet.
Sure.
Any updates on that? I doubt it at this point, but can't hurt a shot. And then I think I'm going to do some digging in the ShadowNet about your agent. See what goes on there.
Sounds good. Well, don't be inconvenienced because of me. Do it on time you're not going to be using for other things. I don't want to be a bother. I will see you both in a bit. It looks like I have a busy evening ahead of me.
Alright.
So are you researching, or are you going to be working on the helmet? Because I might have just derailed you from working on the helmet.
I was actually going to say that as she walks out and down the hallway, she's going to say, heads, look up the interns. Tails, you can take care of the of Edgar. I'm going to work on the helmet for a bit. With her intelligence as high as she is, I'm going to say that she can split her attention just a tiny bit for the manual work of physically working on the helmet versus the also reading something on the side.
Tails gives you a little salute and heads nods and accidentally bobs himself off of your shoulder and has to fly back out.
I love it because Faridah is consciously puppeteering all of these. So she's made them do that. That's the way they work. They're not AI.
But they're so cute!
I imagine there were times when they were like the only thing she had to interact with sometimes.
Oh yeah. No, part of her performance, which is relatively high, is a little bit of ventriloquist style stuff where she can puppeteer heads and tails like independently of what she's doing. Okay, that is all. I make my way to the workshop and the power drill sounds begin.
Bye, what are you looking at?
I think I'm going to research the song on the ShadowNet first, so I get that out of the way.
Okay. Computers plus proficiency.
Okay, I'm already proficient in it, so it would just already be in the bonus.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was a 5. So that's an 8.
Your proficiency should be +2.
Yeah, and then I have a +1 to int.
Got it.
So it's +3.
So, since Faridah's now dead on that side of space, there's been, like, a little more chatter and being like, wait, is this that dead chick?
It's totally a vibe that she can work with.
So chatter has picked up, and roll me perception.
Okay.
Or we could make this investigation, whichever's higher.
Perception is much higher.
Okay.
Aha! I rolled a 3 on that. Oh no, that dice is going away now. So that's a 9?
Nothing in particular new, but you're distracted.
Yeah, okay. Can I try the Alliance side, or would that count as both rolls?
Are you looking Alliance ShadowNet or Alliance Internet?
Let's do ShadowNet first. So roll investigation.
Yes.
I rolled another 3 on a different die.
You're not noticing a lot.
That's a 4. Okay, I'll have to come back to those later.
Fi's distracted, I can imagine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How's she handling all of this?
Her main concern at this point, after her talk with Drew and Daria, is the update with the Federation that they gave no information about Vi. And so she's not sure if that was just because they couldn't find anything or if they're preparing something. So she wants to talk to her mentor about it, but she knows that that could be a long conversation. So she wants to get this stuff done first.
Yeah, but it's hard to focus on it when you've got all of these questions buzzing around your head and uncertainty.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see if we get anything on Edgar Gandry. That would be on the ShadowNet.
Yeah.
So, investigation. Oh, yay! 19! Yay!
Do we want that for just ShadowNet, or are you looking ShadowNet and Internet?
We could say both.
So, you see more information about the allegations. It ended up being like it was someone who was upset because he had turned them down for something, and their response was to try and completely destroy his reputation by making it look like he was involved with drug running and money laundering and all of that. And they enlisted the help of some not great people. It was getting pretty rough, but it ended up completely falling apart when there were people that were like, no, he was here when this happened. No, he was here when this happened. So that fell apart. But aside from that, I haven't actually decided what race he is. Victor, do you have an idea?
Yes, I was thinking one of the little green people. I don't know what they're called.
Kesh?
Kesh?
Yeah. Would that fit? Would that work?
Yeah, sure.
I have no idea.
We can use more Kesh.
In a cut, my thought is that the big man himself is probably Promethean. That's probably where he got the curiosity. Anyways, back to mute.
He is Kesh, and that's part of why he's so good at what he does, is because he's been in the music industry for a couple hundred years.
Yeah, okay.
He's like in his 300s, because they live to be about 500, so he's had a lot of experience. Victor, no one can hear your verbal responses to this because you have muted yourself.
I'm just saying that sounds reasonable.
That's why he's reached such a high place in his career, and also why he's very particular, is because he doesn't necessarily need to do this anymore. He just wants to, because he kind of enjoys that challenge of it. I mean, there are some people who aren't particularly fond of him just because his personality, he's very focused and driven sometimes, but he's not a bad person. He's just a bit standoffish. Once you get to a certain age, sometimes you get personality quirks that irk people who don't know other people around that age.
Yeah, fair enough.
But he's really good at what he does. He is a good person.
Okay. And even on the ShadowNet, couldn't find anything bad?
Well, I mean, there are some people who might still be chattering about, like, what if that was true? What if, like, some of the things he does is kind of iffy, but questionable life choices doesn't make you a bad person. You aren't able to find anything to say that there might have been, like, accidental involvement, but it doesn't look like he's intentionally done bad things. Because he's 300 years old. You sometimes accidentally get caught up in shady things.
Okay, so, like, nothing incriminating.
Yeah,
Okay.
no. He strikes you as someone that would likely be trustworthy, if maybe not the most amicable of personalities. But he does do a lot of good work for the artists he represents. And there have been occasions where he's, like, taken on someone where everyone's like, why in the world would you do that? And a couple years later, it's like, oh, that's why. And Faridah might actually be one of those stories where everyone's like, who is this kid? Where are they from? And now it's like, oh, wow.
Huh. Okay.
He's particular about who he works with. His method is, like, he kind of, like, follows their career without him for a while. Then he reaches out to them and says, hey, I want to represent you. That's how it happens sometimes. Sometimes people are brought to him, but he always meets with the artist before he represents them, which could lead to some questions.
Yeah.
If not physically in person, there's, like, a virtual meeting. And he's also very protective of his clients' personal information. So he works to make sure they can have a personal life as well as their public life. He takes good care of his people. He's also grown a lot in the past 5 minutes, beyond when I just slapped a name on him and was like, okay, where am I going with this?
That happens.
But I like him, so...
So, I think at that point, Vi would go looking for his personal email, seeing if she could find that somehow.
Give me another investigation to see if you find it this time.
Oh boy. Ah! I just rolled a 2. No, I did not.
Nice.
Yeah, okay.
You've got something on your mind.
Yeah.
Maybe you're still kind of running through the conversation from the vault or other things. Because the Guardian did ask some very interesting questions.
Yeah. That it did.
So you're gonna try researching anything else or just reach out to your mentor? I feel like at this point you also realize you're not focusing very well.
Yeah. I think at that point, yeah, she'll just talk to her mentor. Because at this point, yeah.
I think the last thing he said to you was basically letting you know that Faridah's parents are safe and he's got people watching them, but he can't move them. He's probably sent you a brief message saying he's found a good spot to rest for a while.
Okay.
He's still, like, ready to move, but he's hunkering down for a little bit. So he's slightly more available.
That's good. Hey, Z, I saw the update on the Federation investigation. Are they trying to look into me? Or what's going on with that? Because it feels like they're going to try to set me up.
They've been staying rather hush-hush, but this does feel like they're setting up for something. From what I can tell, none of our people, which by that, he means the people you usually work with, have said much of anything. I don't think anyone we know is talking, but there have been a lot of questions. There's messages piling up in my other account. I haven't been responding, but I have covertly reached out to a few key people, which, it's people that you trust as much as you can in this line of work. It's just, like, people that you know well enough, and he's not gonna, like, give anything that they would be able to use to harm you all. I've reached out, and they agree that they know there's more going on.
Alright. There's a small situation here as well. Someone's trying to get myself and my crewmates, and it sounds like they need information. I don't know. They want to keep us alive, for now, at least. So, that's another thing.
What did you get yourself into this time?
That's the question, isn't it?
Seriously, It's been 3 weeks.
Yeah, well, it was a long 3 weeks. I helped someone steal information from a sort of, I wouldn't say mob boss, but he was definitely in the underworld a bit. He was a drug smuggler. That's what he was trying to do, in that case at least. We also recovered an artifact from there, and we're not sure if that's connected or not, but I don't think you would. But do you happen to know of anyone named, or well, codenamed Trigger? Because that's who's looking for us right now.
Can't say I do.
Fair enough.
But then sometimes people use different codenames for different businesses, and you know this. We both do it.
Yeah, I know. It's just felt better to ask than anything else.
Fair enough. No harm in asking.
It was a long shot anyway.
At least he doesn't want you dead. Those are much harder to deal with.
He's not without the information or whatever he wants first. Then after that, who knows? You know how this sometimes goes.
True, but with information, you have leverage.
I mean, if it is information, what is it that we know that no one else does? You know? Either he doesn't know exactly who has the information, so he wants all of us, just in case, to cover his bases, or I don't know. Is it that he wants to know about the Federation? That doesn't really make sense. We've seen there's at least some communication between the two shadow nets. So that shouldn't really be it. The Federation is not more advanced than the Alliance, so I don't know what it could be, and I don't like it. Things are seeming to start to fall apart right now, Z. And I don't know what the fallout of that would be.
When did this bounty first show up? That might help clarify things.
Okay, it was a couple days ago? Is that right? Here's how we found out about the bounty, actually. We were meeting a contact in a bar to help gain funds for...
You were getting the location.
Yeah, I was getting a location to an artifact for money, and all of a sudden, this group of people starts looking at myself and Anima and Faridah and Tally, another crew member of ours. So I go over and they try to stop me, and apparently they told their crewmates who were trying to leave through the front door, because I told them that there was something sketchy going on, that they need to go meet someone. I'd have to double check with them as to what the exact wording was.
I think it was like someone wants to speak with you kind of thing.
They said someone wants to speak with you. And we got out, and then we got the artifact, and...
You hurt him real bad, too.
Yeah. Yeah, they got a little hurt, but, you know, they were apparently bounty hunters. If they didn't know that getting hurt was part of the job, then they should choose a different career.
Did you go for the ankle or the nose?
The ankle this time. I wanted to make sure they couldn't follow.
Good call. That hurts like hell. Because I'm imagining there was a point he tried something on you and you did that.
Yeah, well, you should have known better, so... They didn't know they were going up against an assassin. You did. You knew what you were getting into.
You weren't even an assassin at that point!
Well, we both know how deep my paranoia goes.
Oh yes. Very well aware.
Does anybody know how deep it goes?
Just let me know if you need to talk you off that ledge again. Do we need to have that conversation again?
We'll have to see. It's... Right now, the main issue is the loose ends. There are a lot of loose ends here. We have that, and the thing with the bounty is just odd. we're kind of stuck on ship arrest right now because everyone but 2 people in the crew is now included in that bounty. But yeah, it was just a day or 2 ago. It can't be older than a few days, but still.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
It was yesterday? Okay, I couldn't remember if it took a couple days.
Well, it was yesterday that you found out about it. It might have been like a day or so old.
Well, the bounty itself was only a couple days old. We found out yesterday. So, I mean, it's relatively new, but I'd rather deal with it and have it gone now. Otherwise, when you 3 get to the Alliance, you can have a target on your back.
Might take us a while to get there, but would also appreciate not immediately having people trying to kill me. Though I'm used to that. It hasn't stopped me before. Thank you for joining us, and stay tuned next time to find out what happens on board the Opal Star. If you don't want to wait, you can get early access to our episodes over at patreon.com/pseudonymsocial. If you like our show, please consider leaving us a review on your favorite podcasting app so people can know where to find us. We couldn't do this without your help. Aboard the Opal Star is a production of Pseudonym Social, changing reality one story at a time. It is DM'd and produced by me, Brianna Toiber.
I'm Casey, and I'm playing Anima the Ashenforged.
Victor, and I'm playing Faridah the Promethean.
My name is Alexis, and I am playing Vilena Sorel, the Eldori.
With music by Patrick Chester of Chester Studios. To get more information on this or any of our other shows, check out our website at pseudonymsocial.wordpress.com.